Welcome to Retirement Income Options, May 24th, 2021. This is webcast 2 of 3. And since we talked about this stock at the end of the last program, the Stocks of the Week program, I'll take a look at OX. I want to show you some options. I don't keep much money here at TD Ameritrade anymore. So we know that this is close to a buy zone. I think you can sell a $12 put, $12.50. The July $12.50, you get $1. So your net cost would be $11.50. Stock's currently at $12.50. So there you go. Just sell the at the money put for July, you get $1. If it goes up, there you go. You just made 8% in 2 months. And if it gets put to you, you get a net cost of $11.50. We can go through a whole bunch of stocks here. You notice all the SPACs are sold off. Here, that one. So 4 of the 5 lowest are SPACs. Let's take a look at Teladoc again. There you go. The bear market is happening, huh? So this one's getting closer and closer to being super sexy. So let's take a look at what the 100 puts are. Teladoc. Take a look at the July regulars. Not much on the hundreds yet. So I had this on the list a couple of weeks ago. Missed last week's update because there really is just nothing new. Now that the market started to move, start to take a look at this, and you're like, well, you get $1. It's not worth it yet. So if Teladoc comes down closer to 100, that's when it starts to get super sexy. It's not there yet. On track. There you go. There's the one that you want. Better Business, I think. I just had some puts expire on that. So 25s to July, not much of a no market really. So August, some outstanding in August. There you go. So 25s, you get $2. Putting at 29, that's pretty interesting to me. So I would say on track. If you have who has sold a put on track already? Yeah, look at that basing. That is just beautiful. I mean, if you get this put to you at 25, I think you're probably getting it at double bottom. I think you can even sell the 30s. So you could sell the 30s. Hold it out of the money. You have $5 for that right now. The $30, it gives you a net price at 25, which is where we're saying is probably an awesome spot. I love selling that August $30 put for $5. Love it. You have August 30. I don't know what you got, but man, I'm guessing you got around $5. You got $4 or $5 for that, didn't you? Yeah, I'm guessing that you did. Go through here. There you go. ASTS Space Mobile. This one's been building a base too. So again, when these stocks build a base, pretty interesting, right? So you can sell this one. I'm maxed out on this one. I have as much of this as I want. There you go. If you think it's near a bottom, sell the $10 put for August. So you get a net cost of $7. You're basically getting a 50-cent discount, which on this is, that's a pretty big percentage, or 7.5%. So if you do that, if you already own the stock, sell the 750s, which are a little out of the money. I mean, basically at the money. Take $1 in premium. So if you don't own it, I would sell the 10s. If you do own it, I would sell the 750s. Paycom has been getting close for us, right? Bounced off of our buy line. I think these things do move in waves. It doesn't, you want to call it Elliott wave, go ahead. It's not really what it's doing, but it's likely to have one more dig. And I say that just by looking over here. It didn't quite get all the way oversold. So these waves, right? They keep waving, right? The ocean's never smooth, so they keep waving until the wave bounces off something, and then the general direction's in another direction. It goes the opposite direction, bounces off the shore or whatever, but it's still wavy. So I would say one more dig into here, and then Paycom. I really love it in this area. I do. I think that Paycom is. I think I probably just buy the stock, right? Because the price is so high. Unless you got a pretty big account, selling the puts is not that big of a deal. But I would probably, if I'm any of you and your account's not big enough to sell, what amounts to a $30,000 put, I'd probably just set a price at like $290 for like a 1 or 2% starter position. 2% is more in a starter position, but $290, I really like that price on Paycom. Who else? Oh, Discovery. Let's talk about Discovery. Looky. AT&T is helping to give us another cookie. So this was the hedge fund implosion. And this is people who don't like the Time Warner Discovery terms. Well, the funny thing is the AT&T people don't like the terms either. What does that mean? If both sides don't like the terms, it's probably a pretty good deal, right? Everybody's unhappy. Great deal. So I think that you can sell these puts, and if you, again, this is going to be one of these things that depend on you. You know, what do you own already? Do you already own AT&T, which means that you're going to get shares in this? So if you are going to already get shares in this, then you sell something that's maybe a little bit out of the money. So a $30 put. $30 put for July, you get $1.40 for it, right? So remember, don't blow up your asset allocation, but you know, for every share of basically every 3 shares of AT&T you have, you're gonna get 2 shares of this. I would consider making this a full position, only because I believe I've always thought that Warner and HBO were the company that were going to compete. I always said that they're probably going to merge, but they could have stayed with AT&T, and AT&T brought something else in. But the problem was AT&T didn't have the money to do that. That became apparent in the last year or so, and now, you know, they've made the decision to spin it off. They put it with Discovery. It's the biggest content company in the world. And that really makes you wonder what's going to happen with Viacom. You know, if Peacock and NBC is actually going to merge. Can you imagine NBC and CBS being part of the same company? It makes a lot of sense for me for that to happen. We'll see. In any case, it still makes sense to me that Viacom might get involved with Discovery too. Now, then you take a look at what they have, and they have your non-traditional stations, TNT, PBS, probably CNN. I don't think they're really going to spin that off. Got all the Discovery, all the reality TV. You got the movie studio. Well, if they got in bed with Viacom, now all of a sudden they got Paramount. You get all the Star Trek stuff. Man, I tell you, it could be pretty interesting. Ultimately, I think Viacom just picked those smaller deals because I don't think the leadership wants to merge, but we'll see. We'll see. Apple or Google or Facebook could still all buy Paramount because of the sports rights. You can really see Facebook buying Paramount. I could anyway because of the sports rights, and then they stream it right on Facebook. All right, what else do we got here? What else are people looking at that are starting to get interested in? So this has been on our list. I said buy this or sell puts on this last couple of weeks, right? So start of May, I've been saying sell puts on this one. Same thing. You know, it depends on what you want, but $100 puts on these guys, I think is pretty interesting, right? We know that there's probably going to be M&A with these guys too. Here's your reaction is. Yeah. Well, so there you go. Your 105s get you a pretty big premium. See what? Yeah. The hundreds or the 105s depends on how aggressive you want to be. I don't think there's much downside below 100. I really don't. Take a look at that chart. I mean, that spacing could go down one more dig, but I mean, they're still making a lot of money, and they're very open to M&A. I mean, they've come right out and said it. It's rare the management just comes out and says it, right? So it's happening. There are no options on Azure, so you just want to buy that. So we take a look at it. I said buy this one 3 weeks ago, right? So let's look at the 6-month chart. There you go. I think look. Here's the weird thing. I was going to write about this week. So here's what's going on in solar. Is silicon has gone up in price a little bit because of supply chain constraints and China bullshit, right? Freaking commies. So there's going to be a pullback in solar here, a little bit more than what we've gotten. And it's going to be just a fantastic rally afterwards. So between now and late autumn or October, fourth quarter, between now and Q4, you're going to probably get an awesome opportunity to buy solar. I don't know how the infrastructure package affects that, and that deal still might not be done until I think it's September, October. I can't remember what the reconciliation rules are. Now, that deal could be done next month. They might just go and do it without the Republicans, but they're trying to get the Republicans on board. I think they know it's not going to happen. The numbers are so far apart, and everybody's got their little red lines. So I really like this here because the Indian solar market is the biggest non-commie solar market in the world. And that whole country is going to go mostly solar in the next 10 years. So these guys, as a solar developer and operator, you know, I really think you can see this one go all the way back up to 50. Pretty easy. And then it can break out past there. And remember, once the build-outs are done, they don't have a lot of CapEx. They just collect fees for taking care of stuff. So, you know, I do think this one's probably a triple from here. Let's finish Vici. Again, one of my favorite companies. You know, I only have 7 REITs on our list, and this one's breaking out. I'm gonna really need to figure out what I truly think about this because I know so much about this company that I think they probably are going to double from here in the next several years by mid-decade. You know, from this point, I think it probably doubles. So $60 stock, give or take. I don't know that the fibs are all that important here. And the thing with the charts is, do you modify them for the pandemic? Well, if you do, take a look at this. And this returns to its IPO line, returns to its IPO line, breaks through it on the pandemic, then rallies. When it comes back, stays above the IPO line. So do I just pretend that this area never happened? And if I do, I can do some different things with charts. Go from this pivot to the upper pivot, and then down to here. And now your fib is telling you $36 for sure, but it could get all the way up here. I think that that's hard to project out. But this company is worth a lot of money, and I said about 60. So that makes, you know, it happens to coincide. And why does it coincide? Because ultimately the charts represent collective viewpoints on fundamentals, right? There's the trader stampede momentum herd that is the marginal price pressure up or down at a given time. But the reality is, you know, over a long period of time, the market is measuring fundamentals. Stocks can't trade absent the fundamentals forever, maybe for a cycle, but eventually the fundamentals always matter. I think real estate's getting more expensive. I like the portfolio. I think the Venetian deal was off the charts awesome for these guys. So I could see this one getting to 60-ish, 3-4 years out. All right, let's call that one a day, which means go ahead and sell cash secured puts. Sorry. Yeah, I don't think I'd sell any cash secured puts on this one right now. Raise that up here. There you go. Okay, there you go. Make that the one that I save. Actually, better yet, change it to weekly, which is what we should be looking at. Move this over here. There you go. That aims right at it, doesn't it? So there you go. And save. I mean, if you really wanted to, I guess you could sell 30s. But the reason I don't know that I will is because of this, right? Let's just come down to here, maybe even to here. I see that gap. Let the gap get filled on RSI and see what the price is at the time. So I don't think I'd do anything just yet. But if you're afraid of missing this, go ahead. You know, really depends on you. I'm not selling puts on this because I believe that most of these will be filled this year. Makes sense? All right, so now we're going to do swinging for the fences. Stay with me just one moment.